Hey friends, welcome to my new temporary studio. Temporary because I'm going to be moving in about 6 weeks or so. It's really nice. I need more lighting, but I think it's going to work fine. I'll get you guys in close. I'm going to paint a rooster. I found a great reference photo on wildlifereferencephotos.com. The link is in this video's description. Look at this pose. So it costs $5. So the photographer makes some money, and you can read the terms, but the licensing for it is great. I love the licensing agreement for it. And look at that pose. I'm not totally sure what colors I'm going to use. I think I'm going to use primary because I'm not completely unpacked. So we'll just use primary colors. I made a decision, and then I'm going to write the word love. Oh, maybe in just kind of a putty color. That's from Hippie Crafter. Oh, here, I haven't shown you guys this. It comes in a really fun packaging. They're chalk pastels. They're a little bit on the harder side, which I like. So we got to write the word love on here because it's a great way to start. I'll paint the background and then I'll pop back in. Okay, let's set the table. I'm using what I consider primary colors, but they're not red, yellow, blue. This time I use different blues. It's phthalo blue green shade. I was making sure that that's phthalo blue green shade. Cad yellow medium hue, which I use this a lot if you guys have been following me. And Quinacridone magenta. The cad yellow and the magenta makes a really pretty red. You can use red. And then so I had a lot of yellow, a little phthalo blue, mixed a kind of a light green, put a little magenta in it to mute it down because red and green are opposite the color wheel, so that's close enough. I liked it, but I wanted it grayer, even more muted, so I put some Mars black in there. And then I put out titanium white to mix with this color. And so I've had some thoughts. Let's see, hopefully I remember them all. So one thing I haven't talked about is sometimes the acrylic paint, okay, I don't know if this is true. You guys can let me know in the comments. Acrylic paint, I think, shrinks as it dries, and sometimes you get little specks of the canvas coming through. There might be right there, but I'm gonna put a rooster there anyway. I don't know if you can see it. Right there. I don't know if it'll even focus. So sometimes I'll come back with a little more paint and cover those up. I like good coverage. You don't have to do that. That's just something I like. Let's see, what else? Okay, I think that's dry enough. If it's starting to dry, just let it dry. And then once it's dry enough, you can come back with more color. Oh, see, I don't know if I like that right there. I'm just gonna leave it. I used a 1-inch, oops, sorry if I bumped my camera, a 1-inch flat brush from Low Cornell. I always have trouble aiming. What else? Oh, I did do it. Okay, so I had when I turned this upside down to paint so I'm painted darker at the bottom. It's just a good little tip to give it some weight and some stability. Don't have to do it. I've even done this and then forgot to turn it when I put my traceable on it, and it works. It's not a huge thing. That's just something that I do sometimes, is have the dark on the bottom to give it weight and stability. And then, so I had this upside down, so then I don't know my iPad, my iPad will do it, but I turned it upside down on my stool over here because I really like this foot coming out. Look how big that foot is. I love their funny feet. So then I'm having this line somewhat mimic that foot. I don't think it's at the right angle, but that's all I'm thinking there when I did this. And then I have a little bit of an up and down stroke because this foot Oh, I don't know if you can hear the thunder. This foot is straight up and down. But I think that's overthinking it, but that's just the things that I think about. Oh, I remembered the last thing. Yay. I was like, there's another thing. So you could paint, oh, this is a 12-inch by 12-inch canvas from Creative Mark, the edge. I think Jerry sells these. I get them on Amazon. I really like these. I buy cradled wood panels from US Art Supply. I buy canvases from Michael's. You guys can let me know what canvases you like in the comments. So the Rooster is going to go here and I'll have good coverage. But when you're done and you sign this, hold it up to a window because I don't think I'll be able to show you. Oh, maybe, no. I don't think you can see my hand. I don't have enough light. But your signature might come through if you sign up in one of these thin light areas. On this one, I want to be sure and sign somewhere where the Rooster is because the paint will be thick and the light won't come through. That's just something to think about. I think that's it, guys. I'm going to let this dry overnight, and then I'm going to print out the Rooster 12 by 12 and use it as the photo as a traceable, and I'll be back tomorrow. Hey, I'm popping in because this is actually 2 days later, and I took some of my background color green, added some magenta to it, maybe a little black to it, and just put in a shadow. I think it needs more paint. It's thin. There's a little matte medium or water in there, but it's a start, and maybe I'll like it, once I get the rest of the Rooster done. And then I tend to work, especially with a Rooster, I'll work on the face and then I'll do the legs because the feathers go pretty much over. And they're more detailed. I'll get looser with the feathers. But I am using the sort of my primary colors. I've got them out on the palette here. I've got a little purple in the beak, but I'm just kind of playing with that. Using mostly magenta and then like a darker, dirtier magenta with some blue in it or some black in it for shadows, and the comb and wattle. The eye's too bright. I don't know. I'm still kind of messing with it. So this is kind of what like my first attempt looks like. But then I'll play with the values and some of the details and just make it look, I'll just play with it, make it look more interesting. I know that might not be very helpful, but I also think sometimes if you're a beginner artist, you stop here and it needs more work. Well, it definitely needs a highlight in the eye. I've got too much of a ring. I need to maybe break that up. But anyway, I just wanted to pop in and let you know what I was up to. Oh, I got out a new liner brush, which I like. It is a 5/0 from Royal and Langnickel. It's really thin. Here, maybe you can see it better. It's really thin, but it's too thin and floppy for the detail I was doing. So I set it aside, and then I grabbed a number 2 round from Princeton. Really just use brushes that you like, that you're used to, that you're comfortable with. I think that's about it. I might try to juice up some of these colors. I'm basically doing paint by number. This shape isn't quite like the reference. Here, let me show you the reference. Grab it. So that shape is sort of that highlight shape. There's a shadow there. I've kind of got a shadow there. Oh, I need to tighten my table. It keeps going back and forth on me. So that's all I'm doing, is painting that shadow shape. Here, let's point with something under my finger. This shadow shape on top of the beak. You know what, I can see I want to make the beak fatter, maybe have it come up a little bit. Okay, really just kind of comes down to personal preference after a while. The traceable is super helpful because I have the structure right there. All right, I think that's about it for the comments. I'll be back in a bit. Okay, let's stop a second and talk about what I'm up to. I just looked at the last little bit of video. I think my white wall is making this look darker. I can't remember when I moved to my final location, it still looks darker. It just won't, show you guys. I wonder if I have too much light on it or something. I think the walls are darker in my next studio. So I am using a 3/8 inch angle brush from Royal and Langnickel. And I just use it to make some sort of feather looking strokes, to swipe in some light, excuse me, my throat's dry, some light areas. My brown is transparent because my yellow is semi-transparent and my magenta is semi-transparent. I can tell because that box right there is half full. And that's okay because I can get just some shadows in, some brush strokes in, and then build it up. But yeah, I'm not real crazy about the values I'm getting. I didn't like the light in my old studio that I had for the last couple of years, but I think it was a little bit better, even though I've got more daylight and more just overall lights and lamps. That's so funny. What else do I need to say? Yeah, I'm just finding, I'm putting it together like a puzzle. So I paint the shadow shape. I painted this highlight shape. There's kind of a reddish shape. Can you see that? Here, I'll find something to point with. Right here. You know, and they don't have to be exact. Well, and my art table's wobbly. I have a few problems. And I'm just puzzling my way through the painting. So a lot of times it can help you to save your lights for last, but it can also help you to kind of define your lightest light. That could go lighter. A lot of this could go lighter, except for where it's thick. So then you can adjust your values accordingly. Here, maybe I'll show you the feet while we're... Yeah, I'll have to look at the video once it's all done. I'm just to the side of my phone, like 6 inches, and a little bit in front. So the feet look pretty good, purples and browns. I might play with this, as I mentioned before, and I might not. And I just painted it around to the bottom and the side. Okay, guys, so I'm basically finding light and dark shapes and then using brush stroke direction to help me indicate feathers, or just even blobbing on indicates little short feathers. Okay, hopefully some of those comments help. I'll be back in a bit. Hey friends, I thought I'd pop in. So what I'm starting to do now is go back with another layer. And I think it gives it more depth. I don't know if you can see it on the video. Here, let's try closer. So I've put another, it's kind of wet still, put another layer on this part of the rooster. And then if you look at the wing, I can't tell because I'm to the side of my phone. I don't know, there's like popping coming through little bits of canvas. It's just thinner. Now that doesn't mean you have to do another layer. I just like to. And then sometimes I'll come back and add white and kind of just, I start working with the values. I might actually darken this. I put some orange over it. I start looking at the values and then just deepening the layers because I think it looks nice. But you could call it done. The video's going to smooth it out, but you could call it done. I just don't. That's all. But it's starting to really look good. All the brush strokes are fun. I think I've showed you the feet already. So now I just play with it. To me, the work, the figuring out the puzzle is done. Now we get to play with color value, depth, texture, that sort of thing. Okay, I hope those comments help. Oh, my palette is still the same. I mixed more brown. It's not quite the same, but I'm using the same colors, so it's unified. Put out more quinacridone, mixed more orange. This is a little lighter, I think, than what I had. Oh, and the blue in the tail is phthalo blue, green shade, and black. And then just more black, white variations of that. And I did put a little bit of purple gray up here just to help tie in the purples. But I don't know if that looks purple there anymore in the painting. Okay, guys, I'll be back in a bit. Hey friends, I'm calling it done. It's really fun. My biggest frustration is, I think, the white wall. Before, in my other studio, I had a bulletin board and some paintings and other things, but I don't want to put those up because I'm going to move to another place. So I'm interested to see how this video looks. I've also changed the lighting. Today I don't have all the ceiling lights on, I just have some lamps on. Okay, so towards the end, I mixed a similar green. I could have pulled out my other palette with the green on it. And I basically, like you do with trees, I cut in some holes. You know, even though that's too dark, put a little dot there, a little hole there. Really didn't do it too much. Put in a little line there just to kind of carve back in. And then with that same green, I put in some brush strokes. So one thing that was bugging me is the rooster was pretty much still sitting on top of the background, even though I've got a shadow. So I took some green and just put in some brush strokes. It's almost like a party popper or something, which is really fun. I like doing this. Put some yellow streaks just to help tie the background in and unify the painting a little bit more. You can let me know if you think that works or not. It's, it might not be something you like. I really love this shadow. That's really nice. And then I just put a little blue here just to change the color of it a little bit. And a little blue-green in here. It's quite thin, but I think I like it now. Especially since I added a little more color to the shadow. What else? I think that's about it. Oh, I could put in a couple little pops of white. I think it's actually snow. But maybe we'll just Just sort of like entertaining. So I've got some pops of white here, which is fun. Mostly pink, magenta and white for the wattle. I kind of like the little, so what comes to mind now is if it's everywhere, it's nowhere. You have to kind of be careful. So as I get towards the end, doing like this was, took me a long time to decide if I wanted to do that stroke. The strokes get slower and more deliberate. And then I also like putting more layers of color on it, which I mentioned earlier. But things really slow down at the end. It doesn't look like it on the video. That's kind of fun. So you kind of have just little things entertaining you up in here. Could put one. I'm gonna overdo it. You guys tell me to stop. It's so easy. If it works, you kind of want to do it everywhere. It's really tempting. Okay, we're gonna call that done. We'll give you a little tour here. The link to this reference photo is in the description. I'm just sure I mentioned it. It's $5 on wildlifereferencephotos.com. Just making sure my fingers are clean here. So yeah, I need to, well, I don't know. I was gonna say I need to figure out the lighting, but I don't know if I really can since I'm gonna move. And my lighting wasn't that great in the other studio. I was just used to it. That could be the whole problem. So I'm just not used to it. But I really think these strokes help a ton to bring the background in with the rooster. The white's fun. Yeah, I like that I cut in, because sometimes I get carried away with brush strokes. You need to kind of take some away. Just like putting sky holes in trees. I'm not sure how good my tour is. I'm to the side, so I'm standing just to the side of my phone and my head's tilted all the way to the right so I can kind of see. And then I'm kind of wobbly. The shadows are nice. This one ended up being more colorful than I intended, but I really like it. I'll also link in this video's description I have a couple Rooster traceables you might like. I can't thank you guys enough for your support. It just means the world to me. I love connecting with you on YouTube and Facebook. Oh, and I have an Annie Troe Art Friends Facebook group. No pressure to join, but if you want to show me your work, that's the best place to do it. And other kind-hearted people. I kind of started saying goodbye and I forgot. I kind of have a routine. Super appreciate your support. Oh, that's what I usually say. Great, big, happy art hugs, and I hope to chat with you soon. Bye, guys.